Let's get into it. We're going to be having Joe Rogan talk about technology as he always does, right? They're going to be talking about something that Samsung has going on, some new technology. And then we're going to springboard the conversation into something that just took place. Mark Zuckerberg, the head of Twitter, the head of TikTok, all of the big tech heads had to sit at a hearing about child safety because there's been a lot of child exploitation going on. So that we're going to be touching on, and this is wild. TikTok CEO gets grilled about how he should be banned from America. Lindsey Graham says to Mark Zuckerberg, "You have blood on your hands." Imagine that. And then Mark Zuckerberg gets forced to apologize to the families who have been victims of child exploitation because they're directly behind him as he's giving his testimony in the hearing. This is a wild one. I'm so happy it happened, but there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad. So we're going to go over both, but I'm going to show you those clips. Come with me on a quick ride. Don't forget about IamCoachColin.com. We got Sold Not For Sale. We got George Orwell Was Right. We got Public Enemy #1, and we got a discount code. It is I Am Coach Colin, all capital letters, all one word, one L in the name Colin. Let's get to it.
It's tedious. It can be vicious. It can be mean. That's why I think we're so susceptible to marketing and advertising. Nobody wants to know the real truth. Nobody wants to know how the sausage is made. Everyone wants to just believe the image that they see on the screen. Nobody wants to know the truth. And that's why I think there's often not a lot of consequences when people are caught being inauthentic, because people want to believe it. Like, who do you blame, really? I mean, the conner or the conned? I mean, the conned are complicit. You want to believe.
I think we're about 5 years away from mind reading. I think it all goes out the window.
Once we can mind read?
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah. I think within 5 years, it's all out the window.
That's going to be interesting.
Have you seen the new Galaxy AI phones?
I'm not scared of it.
Have you seen these new Galaxy AI phones that translate in real time?
No.
They translate in real time, in language, audio rather, and in text. So you have a phone, you set the phone down, like we would have a phone, we'd set it down here, and one half would be facing you, the other half would be facing me. Like, the text is upside down, so that you could read the text. And I would say into it, in whatever language, hey, Giannis, you want to go to lunch? And it would translate into whatever language you have, and then say it out in real time. So the way when it sets up, so you can do it like where you see. So you can do it a couple different ways. One, you can do it when you're calling people.
That's not a call, the one on the screen.
Yeah. So you're calling people, and as they're talking back, it will translate it in real time. And it would also translate it if you're wearing, I think, the Galaxy earbuds. It'll translate it in audio. So it'll give you whatever that person's saying in English.
Wow.
And then you say it back to them, and it will translate it in Thai or whatever they're speaking.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're headed into an interesting place.
Right. So once you get to that, once you get to this, where language is no longer a barrier. So this is the beginning, right? This Galaxy AI, this is like the best smartphone that you could buy right now. This is the beginning. And then what this is really is like Atari. Right. This is like some shitty pixelated version of a video game that you play. Within 10, 15 years, it's going to be the Unreal 5 engine. It's going to be some insanely sophisticated way where the moment you and I talk, we're going to have earbuds in, and we're going to be able to speak all languages. I'll know exactly what you're saying. You'll know exactly what I'm saying, and it'll be razor focused. It'll have it down to. There'll be a few confusions and words and stuff like that, but they'll iron that shit out over time. And then there'll be universal discussions, universal talk, and then we'll all be connected into some sort of a hive mind, some sort of a matrix of frequencies that the brain is interacting with all the other people around it. So you're going to be able to do all this without using words. And we're all going to be reading each other's minds. And you're going to know intentions. You're going to know truth. You're going to know deception. You're going to know hate, anger, lust. You're going to know when someone wants to fuck you. You're going to know when someone wants to run away from you. You're going to know everything.
Wow, it's going to be
a different kind of person.
A different kind of
but
world.
People would say, "Oh my God, but what would we even be then? How could I live like that? How could you live the way you live now in a metal box with rubber tires going 70 miles an hour down a hardened surface they threw over the grass so you can get to your air-conditioned house where you got a refrigerator with food in it and sit in front of a television that just like pumps in other people's artwork into your fucking brain so you pass out and then you wake up in the morning and do it all again? You don't think that's crazy?"
It's a great description of it.
That's fucking insane. Yeah. That's insane, and that's everyday life. That's normal. It's normal to be completely connected to your phone, incapable of leaving it in the house and going for a walk.
Yeah. And we live like that now, and we figured it out, so we'll figure it out.
The mind reading thing's coming, son.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's going to be a totally different way of thinking. Just like right now with the internet and with the access to information that we have now. It's a completely different way of finding out what's true or what's not true.
Yeah, even if you think about the way the world's changed just by how criminals can't get away with doing crime. Like there's cameras everywhere, there's DNA.
Everywhere.
I think that's probably why serial killers have gone away, is because
They haven't.
I mean, they've lessened a lot, right?
Yeah, but there's a lot of random. You can do random stuff. Robot reimagines the digital experience with AI-powered R1 device. What is that?
Rabbit.
What is
This
it?
got shown at CES. I'll show just the video that Lewis made from Unbox Therapy describes it pretty quickly. I was trying to find a better video, but this I think does it really good job. This kind of replaces the phone, and we'll see if people really
Teaser on their new AI-powered device. It's got a grill on it. It could be for the speaker, it could be for the mic. Oh, it's definitely a hardware device. Oh, there's a mic on the top. It is like voice as the primary input. It has a rotating camera, and I saw a little SIM door as well. So cellular, so standalone.
Start my morning routine. Order me an Uber.
Check the fridge, order the ingredients to make that again tomorrow.
Watch what I'm doing here. Process all my new photos today just like this.
Okay.
Massage
that one
my
was a little
prostate.
intense.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Feed me cake. Massage my prostate.
Figure out what my wife wants to eat.
the last
And
bit
it
of
goes,
this-
can't compute.
it costs $200, and it's coming out very soon. But it can do stuff for you, and how? I don't
Right,
really know.
but the thing about phones is social media. It's TikTok, it's YouTube, it's Instagram. It's being able to see things over and over and over and over again. If that doesn't have a screen or that little bitchy ass screen and it's mostly just talking into it,
there's other devices that are coming out now replacing that. There's these very simple, they're cheap too, the 27-inch screens that will follow you around your house. They're
what?
with you all the time.
27 inches.
Yeah, touch
It
screen.
follows you.
It's full of apps, and it's an Android device.
So wait a minute, does it float
It's
like a robot?
Right now, it's like a little Roomba robot that can charge for 7 hours.
Can you imagine everywhere you walk, you have a giant screen with you. You get nothing done.
Yeah. Yeah. How about the Apple goggles are coming out? That
That's
can-
the other part of
yeah.
it too. Is that you're going to decide if you want to wear these goggles or here's the LG one.
So what I was saying though about that Galaxy phone is AI that allows you to translate like that now allows you to do a bunch of other different things. One of the things it allows you to do, like if there's a photo, like if someone sends you something, you just circle it and it'll do an immediate Google search of what that thing is. It'll tell you what that thing is. It'll either, you could buy it. It'll give you like links where it's for sale. It'll give you a history on it. It'll take you to a Wikipedia page and whatever that thing is.
Yeah, it's like ChatGPT does that pretty well
But
now.
it's in your phone.
It's in your phone, yeah.
You just circle things.
Yeah.
It just goes right to them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's also able to summarize things now. Like say if you sit down with your phone and you make a bunch of voice notes, like you go on a rant about something. You're like, oh, I know there's something funny in this. I don't want to work it out totally on stage. Let me work it out in my office. And you just go on a rant about this thing. It will then transcribe it, and then you could say, summarize this for me.
Wow.
And we'll summarize it into bullet points and paragraphs.
Yeah, well, I know now.
On your phone!
Yeah. With ChatGPT, you could go on there now and go, give me a joke in the style of Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And it'll give you a joke. And then people could probably just change a few things. And
Yep.
it's going to, I don't know what being genuine is going to mean in the future.
Well, I think it's going to lead us to be more inclined to give in to this mind reading thing, because the opposite is going to be too much chaos. If it's one or the other, it's either complete chaos, you never know what's true, or you know everything that's true. And we all have to agree that this is the best way. The thing about that is if everybody has to wear it, dictators, everyone, that ruins the entire hustle. It ruins everything instantaneously. You can't pull off anything anymore.
Right.
All the people in Congress that are committing insider trading, all the people that are in the military-industrial complex that are inflating dangers to try to get us involved in a military conflict that's going to get them a giant fat contract. They're going to make large dollars.
And then if you
You're gonna
try
see it
to
all.
persecute somebody for a thought that they had, then they'll find out that if you had the same thought, and they're like,
Yeah.
you're full of shit, man.
Or it'll also give, why are they mad at you for that? Are they really upset? Are they being charitable with their assessment of the way you think and behave? Or are they just trying to play some stupid social game and win some little conflict with you and just get...
You think it'll get that sophisticated? Will it understand the context of your feelings?
100%. Yeah, I think it'll be a new language. I think it'll eventually evolve into a universal language. So if we're going to be interconnected with AI, which with this new Galaxy phone, the S24 Ultra, you clearly are interconnected with AI in your phone. It's actually built into your phone. They've engineered the chip to work specifically with AI in that phone. This stuff is only going to get better, man.
Right.
It's only going to get better. And I see it getting better to a point where we're probably going to be integrated physically with these things, whether it's something that you wear, like a little headset that you wear, or something that they put in your body. And it's going to be way better with it than it is without it. In the beginning, most people aren't going to do it, but once they get it dialed in and they've developed some sort of, whether it's Neuralink, and there's a bunch of different competitors that are doing similar sorts of technology, once they figure out a way to really enhance your brain and really enhance your ability to gather information and process information and supercharge it, everybody that has that will have such a significant advantage over everybody that doesn't, that we
everyone's
have a
gonna do
real
it.
risk of people not doing it.
Right, people are going to have to do it.
Right, because what if Kim Jong-un does it and just
Right.
takes over the world? What if
Right.
the people that do it just are the worst people alive, and they just use that as we're going to lock everything down, starve the world out, central bank digital currency, fucking drones everywhere. No one gets away with anything. No one gets a chip but me.
Right.
Yeah, if you become a god, you
And
become
there's
a
no way
super
to
genius.
stop. There's no way to stop the progression of technology.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible. The only way is an asteroid.
Yeah.
Something big. We'd have to have like a natural disaster that sends us back into the Stone Age.
If you're new to this channel, you'll find out quickly that I disagree with Joe on almost everything he has to say about AI, and he'd probably disagree with me as well, because we just don't see eye to eye on this thing. As soon as he starts saying this whole thing that we're going to integrate, I'm like, who is going to do it? Why would everybody in Congress have to do it? They don't even have to admit that they do insider trading. They're going to have to like, oh, well, we got to put the thing in our head. Like, what do you think this is? And here's another thing with Joe, before we springboard into the Mark Zuckerberg clips, because I got that in a second. But who does he think is coming with him? Does he think Shane Gillis, Ari Shaffir, Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura? Tom Segura might just do it because Rogan does it, because, you know, I don't know. He seems like he might be a little bit of a yes man for Joe. But does he think David Goggins is coming? Jocko's coming? Cam Haines is coming with him? Is that what does he think's going to happen? Everybody who he appreciates and loves and considers a close friend or someone who is inspiration to him is not coming on this wild ride of inserting things into our brain. Like, we're not doing that. I don't know what he thinks is going on. I think there's going to be so many people that aren't going to do this. They're just going to be like, no. Oh, but you'll fall behind. Okay, cool. And then you see somebody have an aneurysm. You're going to be like, oh, okay. And I know exactly what's going to happen. They're going to be like, that wasn't linked to the chip. No, it's normal for people to have aneurysms when they're 30. What do you mean? We're going to go through all that again? Yeah, not for me. Thanks very much. But I only bring up this clip, well, mostly to hear Joe talk about more technology that I think is silly. And I'll just say again, right before I go to the clips, he says we're interconnected with AI. No, we're not. That phone does not make you interconnected with AI. It's an AI program. Right now, if you have ChatGPT and you have the browser open on your phone, you essentially have something like that. You're not interconnected with AI because of that. Not at all. Saying you're interconnected with AI is like saying you have something under your skin, something inside your brain. He's making really big jumps without any explanation of how that's going to happen. So I just don't buy it. And I know for a fact I'm not someone who's going to do it. I've told many people, like, as soon as this background is going to turn into, like, it's going to be a more expensive studio as time goes on. And then it's just not going to be a studio. And I'm just going to be outside. Once I figure it out, mic-wise and sound-wise, I'm going to be outside. Are you kidding me? I'm going to have water behind me. Not tropical either. I'm going to be on a ranch. Kidding me? That's the goal. I'm not doing all this. But let's get into this whole thing. Mark Zuckerberg, the whole hearing, even the head of Twitter, not Elon Musk, but the WEF, I was going to use a certain word. The WEF henchman, Linda Yaccarino, she's there. Head of TikTok, he's there. And they're all getting grilled. Again, a lot of good is going to come from this, or possibly could, but also a lot of bad. And I love that I'm seeing this right now, but also a little bit questionable, especially when Lindsey Graham's involved. Let's play this first clip for you guys. Let's get right into it. A little bit of context for you guys.
Exactly, Tanya and Terrell, the leaders of X, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, or Meta, and Discord are expected to highlight improvements they say they've made in recent months. U.S. senators are taking up the matter of online sexual exploitation of children calling on these CEOs to support the Kids Online Safety Act. It's a bill that would require harmful material be blocked from children's accounts and will also restrict access to minors' information and allow parents to better supervise their kids' activity. Last year, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received over 100,000 cyber tips per day of child sexual abuse material online.
In recent years, we've also seen an explosion.
Wow. I did not know those big numbers, but yeah. So just to give you some context, this is what the whole hearing was about. Child exploitation. There's been a lot of it going on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, of course, because they show all sorts of stuff if you really dig into Twitter. And then TikTok, of course, because it's already positioned at kids, right? Instagram's a younger crowd, but TikTok is literally pointed at teens. And in this hearing, again, the people, you have the senators, the congressmen, all that. Then you have Mark Zuckerberg and all of them. And behind Mark Zuckerberg and all the tech CEOs are people whose children are either gone or have suffered tremendously at the hands of predators, finding them online, perhaps meeting up with them, in some cases taking money from them, and just getting into terrible situations. So again, this sounds like an amazing bill. It sounds like something amazing that Congress is doing, but it's one of those things, just like with Biden and the whole, I'm going to shut down the border as soon as you sign in, just give me this power and I'll shut down the border, even though he already has the power to shut down the border. It's like, why don't you just do it? He's like, just sign this quick. That's kind of could be the case, but I'll let you guys judge for yourselves. Let's go on to the next clip here. A little more context, but also a little deeper into the stories that are actually behind these tech CEOs.
U.S. senators had tough questions for 5 powerful tech CEOs this morning, asking them if they do enough to protect children from sexual exploitation on the internet.
And a Chicago family was in the room today representing parents who have lost children to the dangers of being online. Rose and Rob Bronstein attended the hearing. They say their son Nate took his own life at age 15 after he was cyberbullied by classmates at the Latin School of Chicago. CBS correspondent Natalie Brand reports on the push on Capitol Hill to prevent these kinds of online tragedies.
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg told the Senate
All right, let's get into this. That is a sad story. And, when I started looking up cyberbullying deaths, a whole bunch of stuff comes up. Family says they lost their daughter. How China is tackling it. There's just so many cases of this, so it makes me feel like, okay, at least there's an actual case for all this. They're not, Congress is not just bringing this up out of nowhere, because even in the worst cases, you do have to still look at Congress with a discerning eye. You can't just be like, oh, it's child exploitation, and if you question it, you're terrible, or if you question it, you're for that. No. I don't go down that thought process. I still want to understand why they're doing it. What do they get out of it? They get to protect children, yes. Well, you know what? If they all banded together and closed the border, they'd protect children that way too. There's been many children who have passed away from accidentally getting things that had fentanyl in it. There's been a lot of young people. From 12 years old up to 18 years old. There's been thousands of children who have passed because of that. So when you tell me it's just to protect children, I'm like, there's many opportunities and avenues for them to protect children, but for some reason they're going after the tech companies. Again, I'll say in the same breath, I'm not standing up for these tech companies. I think what a lot of what they do is pretty vile. A lot of what they allow is pretty vile. I think a lot of what they censor is pretty despicable. I think when somebody puts hashtag natural immunity and their account gets kind of banned or like pushed aside, but then somebody else can put a hashtag of something that lures kids into certain positions, and it's like they just kind of let that fly. But the person who put natural immunity, they're a problem. Like, it's a little silly. Let's get into the next clip. This is Senator Josh Hawley talking to the CEO of TikTok. And I love the way this guy talks. If you don't know who Senator Josh Hawley is, go and look him up. You will not be disappointed. I do not know why this guy's not running for president. Let's get into it.
Before my time expires, Mr. Chu, let me just ask you, Your platform. Why should your platform not be banned in the United States of America? You are owned by a Chinese communist company or a company based in China. The editor-in-chief of your parent company is a Communist Party secretary. Your company has been surveilling Americans for years. According to leaked audio from more than 80 internal TikTok meetings, China-based employees of your company have repeatedly accessed non-public data of United States citizens. Your company has tracked journalists improperly gaining access to their IP addresses, user data, in an attempt to identify whether they're writing negative stories about you. Why should, your platform is basically an espionage arm for the Chinese Communist Party. Why should you not be banned in the United States of America?
Senator, I disagree with your characterization. Many of what you have said, we have explained in a lot of detail. TikTok is used by 170 million Americans.
I know, and every single one of those Americans are in danger from the fact that you track their keystrokes, you track their app usage, you track their location data, and we know that all of that information can be accessed by Chinese employees who are subject to the dictates of the Chinese Communist Party. Why should you not be banned in this country?
Senator, that is not accurate. A lot of what you describe we collect, we don't.
It is 100% accurate. Do you deny that repeatedly Americans' data has been accessed by ByteDance employees in China?
We built a project that cost us billions of dollars to stop that, and we have made a lot of progress.
And it hasn't been stopped. According to the Wall Street Journal report from just yesterday, even now, ByteDance workers, without going through official channels, have access to the private information of American citizens. I'm quoting from the article, private information of American citizens, including their birth date, their IP address, and more. That's now.
Senator, as we know, the media doesn't always get it right. What we have.
But the Chinese Communist Party does?
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that we've spent billions of dollars to build this project. It's rigorous, it's robust, it's unprecedented, and I'm proud of the work that the 2,000 employees are doing to protect the data.
But it's not protected. That's the problem, Mr. Chu. It's not protected at all. It's subject to Communist Chinese Party inspection and review. Your app, unlike anybody else sitting here, and heaven knows I've got problems with everybody here, but your app, unlike any of those, is subject to the control and inspection of a foreign hostile government that has actively trying to track the information of whereabouts of every American that they get their hands on. Your app ought to be banned in the United States of America for the security of this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So that is Josh Hockley. He really goes in on people. A lot of times I don't watch Netflix. I'll literally go to his channel or any clips of him and just watch him just dice people up. He's gone after former heads of CIA, heads of FBI. He's gone after so many different people. So I knew exactly what I was going to see when I saw that he was involved in this whole thing. And you have to really think about TikTok. TikTok is not your friend. I don't know if you use TikTok. Probably not. I know I don't. But it's definitely not your friend. The fact that he said it perfectly. 170 million Americans all have their data. Their data has the ability to be accessed by people who are in China who have to acquiesce to the Chinese government. Like, there's no arguing that. And I don't... These hearings are a little annoying because they have certain time limits. But just to ask him about that. Like, are you saying your company doesn't have to bow down to China? Because it's just not true. Every company that's involved, that's in China, has to bow down to the Chinese Communist Party. If they come to you and say, we want this, you have to give it to them. Tencent, which is something that owns part of TikTok, it's like a massive company. Look it up if you haven't heard of Tencent. It's crazy. They are owned largely by the Communist Chinese Party. They also own a little bit of, I think, WhatsApp. They own so many different companies. Tencent has to do, they own WeChat, sorry, not WhatsApp. But Tencent has to do what the Chinese government asks it to do. So if they say we want to see someone's deleted messages, and this is on record, I'm not making this up. If they want to see someone's deleted messages, they can see them. Why wouldn't they have... Tencent owns part of TikTok. TikTok is a Chinese company. Why wouldn't the Chinese government be able to go to them and say the exact same thing? We want to see these messages. We want to see people who are making maybe anti-Chinese, like if this gets on TikTok, they'll be like, oh, we want to know who this person is, blah, blah, blah. Where's his account? Okay, what's his IP? Okay. It's crazy. Joe Rogan already did a whole clip with Theo Vaughn where he was reading off the terms and conditions. This gentleman was just lying. I don't understand how they don't call him on this, but they record keystrokes. They are allowed to access other phones, other devices. Shouldn't even just say phones. Other devices that are in the house of your IP. So you have a phone that has TikTok on it. Well, then they're allowed to access your computer because it's on that same IP address. They're able to access your Wi-Fi, your router. They're able to access your wife's, your child's. They're able to see not just keystrokes, what you're typing, everything. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm glad that that's happening. But again, we're going to talk about the good and the bad. So I think it's tremendously good to call out TikTok, but there's also a lot of bad potential that we could be seeing. The next clip that we got here is Lindsey Graham talking to Mark Zuckerberg. Now, this is the part that worries me, that Lindsey Graham's involved. That's it. As soon as I see Lindsey Graham involved, I'm like, oh, what's going on here? All right, let's get into it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Republicans will answer the call. All of us, every one of us, is ready to work with you and our Democratic colleagues on this committee to prove to the American people, while Washington is certainly broken, there's a ray of hope, and it is here. It lies with your children. After years of working on this issue with you and others, I've come to conclude the following. Social media companies, as they are currently designed and operate, are dangerous products. They're destroying lives, threatening democracy itself. These companies must be reined in, or the worst is yet to come. Gavin Guffey is a Republican representative from South Carolina in the Rock Hill area. To all the victims who came and showed us photos of your loved ones, don't quit. It's working. You're making a difference. Through you, we'll get to where we need to go so other people won't have to show a photo of their family. The damage to your family has been done. Hopefully, we can take your pain and turn it into something positive so nobody else has to hold up a sign. Gavin's son got online with Instagram and was tricked by a group in Nigeria that put up a young lady posing to be his girlfriend, and as things go at that stage in life, he gave her some photos, compromising sexual photos, and it turned out that she was part of a extortion group in Nigeria. They threatened the young man that if you don't give us money, we're going to expose these photos. He gave them money, but it wasn't enough. They kept threatening, and he killed himself. They threatened Mr. Guffey and a son. These are bastards by any known definition. Mr. Zuckerberg, you and the companies before us, I know you don't mean it to be so, but you have blood on your hands. You have a product. You have a product that's killing people. When we had cigarettes killing people, we did some about it, maybe not enough. You're going to talk about guns, we have the ATF. Nothing here. There's not a damn thing anybody can do about it. You can't be sued. Now, Senator Blumenthal and Blackburn, who've been like the dynamic duo here, have found emails from your company where they warned you about this stuff, and you decided not to hire 45 people that could do a better job of policing this. So the bottom line is you can't be sued. You should be. And these emails would be great for punitive damages. But the courtroom's closed to every American abused by all the companies in front of me. Of all the people in America we could give blanket liability protection to, this would be the last group I would pick. It is now time to repeal Section 230. This committee is made up of ideologically most different people you could find. we've come together through your leadership, Mr. Chairman, to pass 5 bills to deal with the problem of exploitation of children. I'll talk about them in depth in a little bit. The bottom line is all these bills have met the same fate. They go nowhere. They leave the committee and they die. Now,
here's the whole thing. They want to repeal Article 230 or Section 230, and this gives social media platforms immunity. So if, like a Casey just said, somebody passed away because somebody was extorting them, blah, 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 Facebook takes no liability in that. No social media company does. If, say, somebody posts something that is, pro-Hamas, and it inspires 50 to 1,000 people to all of a sudden join the ranks, Facebook takes no liability in that. Even if Facebook pushed it in their algorithm and pushed it to those people, they still take no liability whatsoever. That's a problem. But when I hear Lindsey Graham wanting it repealed right away, I'm like, hold on. Maybe there's something to this. Maybe they need that immunity. What is about to happen, right? When I see this guy involved, I don't know. Because Lindsey Graham's just like, I'm a demon. I'm a warmonger. I love money more than children. And I have to say, I can't stand by while y'all do this. I mean, if anybody should be given immunity, it should be me when I say, let's bomb Iran. I mean, I don't understand what's going on. Mr. Zuckerberg, could you give me $50 million? No? Okay, you're communist. TikTok, the Chinese gentleman, can you give me $20 million? No? The lady with the hair and the glasses, Yacarino, okay, 50 million, please? No? Okay, you're all communists. I want their immunity taken away. I don't understand why Lindsey Graham's a part of this. Maybe it's because he really sees an issue with this, but he also said, bomb Iran. He just said it recently. He's like, hit him and hit him hard. And there's children there. So maybe he's just like so nationalistic that he's like, I don't care about children over there, but children over here are a problem. Maybe he's going with the whole America first thing. I don't know. Because he wasn't like that just a little while ago when people were talking about, hey, America first. And he was like, no, more aid to Israel, more aid to Ukraine. And everybody was like, America first. And he was kind of in this America last type of stance. I don't know. But it makes me a little bit skeptical about the intentions, because the last thing that Lindsey Graham endorsed in terms of things to put into action was the Restrict Act. And that right there, that bill is an America Last bill. That bill was positioned as, we got to protect people from TikTok. And when you look into it, it's actually something that's going to oppress the American people more than we've ever seen ever. It's the Patriot Act 2.0. So when I see that, I'm like, I don't know about this guy, but we're going to move on. We got another clip. We got Josh Hockley talking with Mark Zuckerberg, forcing Mark Zuckerberg to apologize to the victims, which is just wild. Mark Zuckerberg seems frazzled in this one. Let's get into it.
Mr. Zuckerberg, let me start with you. Did I hear you say in your opening statement that there's no link between mental health and social media use?
Senator, what I said is I think it's important to look at the science. I know people widely talk about this as if that is something that's already been proven. And I think that the bulk of the scientific evidence does not support that.
Well, really, let me just remind you of some of the science from your own company. Instagram studied the effect of your platform on teenagers. Let me just read you some quotes from the Wall Street Journal's report on this. Company researchers found that Instagram is harmful for a sizable percentage of teenagers, most notably teenage girls. Here's a quote from your own study. Quote, "We make body image issues worse for 1 in 3 teen girls." Here's another quote. "Teens blamed Instagram," this is your study, "for increases in the rate of anxiety and depression. This reaction was unprompted and consistent across all groups." That's your study.
Senator, we try to understand the the feedback and how people feel about the services. We can improve.
Wait a minute.
them.
Your
I think
own
those studies are-
study says that you make life worse for 1 in 3 teenage girls. You increase
Senator, that's not
anxiety
what it
and
says.
depression. That's what it says. And you're here testifying to us in public that there's no link. You've been doing this for years. For years, you've been coming in public and testifying under oath that there's absolutely no link. Your product is wonderful. The science is nascent, full speed ahead, while internally, you know full well your product is a disaster for teenagers.
Senator,
and yet
that's
you
not
keep
true.
right on doing what you're doing. Right?
That's not true. That's not true.
Let me show you some other facts I know that you're familiar with.
Wait
a minute. That's not a question. That's not a question. Those are facts, Mr. Zuckerberg. That's not a question.
Those aren't facts.
Let me show you some more facts. Here's some information from a whistleblower who came before the Senate, testified under oath in public. He worked for you. It's a senior executive. Here's what he showed he found when he studied your products. So, for example, this is girls between the ages of 13 and 15 years old. 37% of them reported that they had been exposed to nudity on the platform unwanted in the last 7 days. 24% said that they had experienced unwanted sexual advances they'd been propositioned in the last 7 days. 17% said they had encountered self-harm content pushed at them in the last 7 days. Now, I know you're familiar with these stats because he sent you an email where he lined it all out. I mean, we've got a copy of it right here. My question is, who did you fire for this? Who got fired because of that?
Senator, we study all of this because it's important and we want to improve our services.
Well, you just told
And
me
I
a
think
second
that
ago
the-
you studied it, that there was no linkage. Who did
Senator,
you fire?
I said you mischaracterized. the data.
37% of teenage girls between 13 and 15 were exposed to unwanted nudity in a week on Instagram. You knew about it. Who did you fire?
Senator, this is why we're building all
Who
these
did you
different
fire?
tools. Senator, I don't think that's.
Who did you fire?
I'm not going to answer that.
Because you didn't fire anybody, right? You didn't take any significant
I don't think
action.
it's appropriate to talk about like
It's not
individual HR
appropriate.
decisions.
Do you know who's sitting behind you? You've got families from across the nation whose children are either severely harmed or gone, and you don't think it's appropriate to talk about steps that you took? The fact that you didn't fire a single person? Let me ask you this. Have you compensated any of the victims?
Sorry?
Have you compensated any of the victims? These girls, have you compensated them?
I don't believe so.
Why not? Don't you think they deserve some compensation for what your platform has done? Help with counseling services, help with dealing with the issues that your services caused?
Our job is to make sure that we build tools to help keep people safe.
Are you
across
going
our
to compensate them?
Senator, our job and what we take seriously is making sure that we build industry-leading tools to find harmful
To make
content,
money.
take it off the services,
To make money.
and to build tools that empower parents.
So you
that
didn't
help
take any
working-
action. You didn't
That's not
take any
true,
action.
Senator.
You didn't fire anybody. You haven't
not true.
compensated a
That's
single
not-
victim.
that's
Let
not
me
what I
ask you
said.
this. Let me ask you this. There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now?
Well-
They're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
I'm sorry for everything that you have all gone through. It's terrible. No one should have to go through the things that your families have suffered. And this is why we invest so much and are going to continue doing industry-leading efforts to make sure that no one has to go through the types of things that your families have had to suffer.
You know, why, Mr. Zuckerberg, why should your company not be sued for this? Why is it that you can claim, you hide behind a liability shield, you can't be held accountable? Shouldn't you be held accountable personally? Will you take personal responsibility?
Senator, I think I've already answered this. I mean, these
Well,
are
try
serious
this again.
issues.
Will you take personal responsibility?
Senator, I view my job and the job of our company as building the best tools that we can to keep our community safe.
Well, you're failing at
and
that.
Well, Senator, we're doing an industry-leading effort. We build AI tools
nonsense. Your product is killing people. Will you personally commit to compensating the victims? You're a billionaire. Will you commit to compensating the victims? Will you set up a compensation fund
Senator,
with your
I
money?
think these are
With your money.
complicated- Senator, these are complicated
Yes, no,
issues.
that's not a complicated question, though. That's
Senator,
a yes or no.
this is-
Will you set up a victims' compensation fund with your money, the money you made on these families sitting behind you? Yes or no?
Senator, I don't think that that's my job is to
Sounds
make
like
sure
a
that we
no.
build good tools. My
Sounds
job
like a
is
no.
to make sure that
Your job is to be responsible for what your company has done. You've made billions of dollars on the people sitting behind them. Are you here? You've done nothing to help them. You've done nothing to compensate them. You've done nothing to put it right. You could do so here today, and you should. You should, Mr. Zuckerberg. Before.
Wow, man, I wish there was something like that for the government. You know, like they get sat in front of a bunch of people and they get like berated. Like I wish that exists. You know, because right now big tech, they are like the government. You know, they're becoming the new government. Like before our eyes, they're lobbying and they have aggressive, obnoxious amounts of money where they can just like push it here and push it there and push it there, and they can do so much. You know, think about that. Like think about the money. We're into the trillions when we talk about Facebook, Google, Twitter, TikTok. Like when we go through all the social media platforms, we're in the trillions for sure. It's crazy. So they have a lot of control, right? So it's good that they're getting berated because that needs to happen. You know, for more, I shouldn't say more than just child exploitation. There's a lot of things that these social media companies are doing to us or pushing onto us, you know? And then also, you know, we're complicit in the small way of we actually go for it. You know, we go for the posts and we go for the likes and we go for the aggravation and we go for the dislikes and we go for this and that and the arguments and, you know, like I do it just like anybody, you know? But it was good that he made Zuckerberg apologize like that, put him on the spot to apologize like that, because those people, now I've gone through nothing like that. You know what I mean? I've just had back and forths with people, stupid arguments and whatnot. But those people have actually like lost kids or, you know, have had kids go through like really traumatic things. And that's just gross, man. Really gross. So again, Senator Josh Hockley, he goes in on people. I love to see it. And honestly, when you look at Facebook, I don't know how, and I guess he has to deny it, but I'm a grown man. I get body issues just looking at Instagram. Of course, like who doesn't? If you just sit on Instagram and look, I get body issues. I actually went through a phase where I had to unfollow and click not interested on every single like thought. You know, those thoughts, those almost like ladies of Instagram, you know, just booty shots and all that stuff. I had to do that and unfollow and cleanse myself of that because I was like, this is eventually going to impact my marriage. I'm like, I can't have this. This is ridiculous. You know, it's like fast food. You got to get it out of your diet, the mental diet. So I had to unfollow a bunch, all of them. It was bad. It was really bad. And I had to apologize to my wife about it. Then I let her know. It wasn't like an apology like it was affecting things, but I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of that, how that could affect us. It wasn't really affecting her. She didn't know. It wasn't doing it in her face, but it was just really bad. And then the effects of social media in general. Obviously, everybody knows there's massive effects. The fact that Zuckerberg is even trying to deny that is just silly. Absolutely silly. And he knows. He knows that he has an anger machine, and he knows that anger is engagement. That's all they're looking for. They're just looking for engagement. Nobody cares. It's just engagement. You're hate watching something. They get to put up an ad. You keep watching afterwards. That's all they're looking for. They don't care if you're happy or you're sad while it's all happening. They don't care if you're being educated or you're just putting in mush into your brain. They don't care about any of that. But yeah, it is good to see them get kind of berated like that. It's good to see them have to apologize. But again, I don't know. See, that's the good side. The bad side is when I see the government all get together. I'm talking about Lindsey Graham. There's a lot of people within government that don't like Lindsey Graham, you know, and they're coming together. They're saying, yeah, we all got to get together and solve this. And you look at it and you go, of course, it's child exploitation. Of course they're going to do this together. You know what I mean? Nobody's that big of a demon that they're going to, you know, not get together with Lindsey Graham, or Lindsey Graham's not going to get together with somebody else to get these bills in place, right? But I don't know. Maybe it's leading to something else. I mean, they are the government. They do shady things. I don't know if I'm the first to tell you. They do shady things from time to time. So I don't know. I think there's going to be some good from this, but I think it could just be the regular play for control, because I don't know all the details yet. I'm hearing about this act that Lindsey Graham said there's 5 bills that they're trying to pass. That's a lot of bills. That's a lot of pages. That's at least 1,000 pages. It's a lot. I don't know what control that gives them after. Are they looking to gain control over social media? Because that's a bad thing. Are they just looking for these social media platforms to operate better? Well, that's a good thing. I don't know. I couldn't give them the benefit of the doubt to just say that they're doing the good thing. I don't know. And honestly, if I go with my gut, I just go, I don't think so. I've been alive and well the past 4 from late 2019 to today. I've been alive and well. My eyes have been very open. So I can't just give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure some people gave them the benefit of the doubt at some point in their lives, but a lot of people have thrown that out the window. So I'm not sure. But let me know in the comments section what you think about all this. And other than that, I'm out. Like and subscribe. Share. It helps. It helps so much. Peace.